What is up, YouTube? I am Eric and you are watching Retro Video Game Pickups. In this video, we talk about GameStop and what would happen if it closed in 2020. So if you like games, consoles, or product reviews, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification. With that being said, let's hop into it. Okay, so this is a topic that I've been throwing around in my brain, rolling it around, trying to decide what this could mean. What would happen if GameStop closed in 2020? Would that be a good thing for gamers? Would that be a bad thing for gamers? Or would it really matter? So let's first off talk about buying games. If you go out and buy used games, there's probably only a few places that you can buy used games, at least readily available. You've got your eBay prices. Obviously, you could go in there, always find games. Facebook Marketplace, you can find used games there. Like OfferUp and Craigslist, I'm gonna kind of wrap those together. You've got Mercari, and then you got stores. You've got GameStop, obviously. You've got your regional game stores, and then you've got your mom and pop local stores. And that's not very many options, to be honest. Now, there are a few more other places you could go on the internet and find, but those are the major ones that I feel like everyone does. And so what happens if one of the three major physical stores closes? What will that do for you? So I think this will be a big problem if this happens, because a few things, but two of them I want to talk about. First off, what happens when all those games flood the market? Prices go down and people are mad because they have a game that's worth $500 but now it's dropped to $20. Well, you shouldn't invest in stuff like that, especially not in games. Games are meant to be fun, so if you're gonna spend that money, at least enjoy it. Let's be real here. And the second thing is, what happens to all those games that can't sell? Well, GameStop is notorious for throwing things away. So what does that mean for game preservation? It's all going in the garbage. If there's a game that's not very popular or isn't gonna sell well, they probably just throw it away. Maybe you'll see some good things come out of it. Like recently I heard about a few GameStops closing down, and so people were buying Xbox One X's and going and trading them into other GameStops and making like $100 per. Like, that's wild. But like, there's a bunch of problems. If one of the three major ways that you can walk into a store and get used games goes away, that is going to make it hard. Now, I know people love to hate on GameStop. That is not what this video is about at all. I'm just talking about what happens if GameStop really goes bankrupt and closes down every store and the business is no longer. Well, that would not be a good thing. That's bad for gamers because I can't just walk over to the store and bebop in there and find 5 games that I've never heard of and maybe buy them all for under $5 or $10 each. Yes, that's actually what I do at GameStop. Either I find obscure games that I've never heard of that are dirt cheap, or I buy these things, which those are Switch games. So I usually don't buy anything else from GameStop. And yes, you could probably say I'm the blame for GameStop closing down because I buy new games, Nintendo Switch games, you can see them back here, and then I buy really cheap obscure games. And that's about it. I don't go in and buy other things, so it's my fault. But we're not talking about that. So, GameStop closes down. Well, in my area, in my town, which is about, let's say 30,000 people, there's a GameStop, a local store called Vintage Stock, and then there's like Best Buy, Walmart, and Target. That's only 5 places. If one of those goes away, that's 25 or 20% of that is just gone away, which sucks because if I have 3 places that I want to go to, one of them's marked too high, one of them doesn't have it, and that third place is gone, I have to pay that higher price if I want to get it. So that really sucks. I enjoy going to GameStop to just kind of browse around. Now, I know GameStop has their issues and whatnot, but occasionally I'll go in there and check it out. I have not in a very long while, so don't blame me because I haven't. I'm sorry, I've been busy. But GameStop, I think, is one of those things that you have to have in order to kind of keep gaming somewhat retail-wise competitive. GameStop is everywhere. Now there's other stores like, what, KB Games and EV Games, maybe, I think? Funko Land, all of those turned into GameStops, essentially. So, what does that mean? All those stores are closing too, which sucks that they're probably already dead and gone, but GameStop took those over. Malls, these things are in every mall. Every mall that I go to has a GameStop, which means I could probably find a game that I haven't found for a while. And so I think that is a big deal here as well. If you take that GameStop out of that atmosphere, there's not any place to buy games in a mall. Like, what are you gonna do? I'm trying to think of the 3 malls kind of in my area. None of them have other places other than GameStop. And so I'm thinking about this. Is GameStop terrible? Sometimes. Do they make bad decisions? Yes. Would I like to see them close down? No. Realistically, people work there. People earn a living there. People have fun there. Games are played because of that store. And so I think of this. 2020, do I want GameStop to close down? And I think that's a no. Like, honestly, I want them to close down because I don't like their practices and I want to find cheap games. But that's selfish. But I think we would have a bigger issue at hand. If they closed down in my area, there would be one store in my city that sells used games. You know what that means? Their prices are skyrocketing, which sucks for you and me and you and me, the gamers. It's gonna suck for all of us. So I'm disappointed. I would totally be disappointed if GameStop closed. And another thing is there's not a place to go for midnight releases. Now I've got Walmart, but that's boring and they always never know what's happening. They may be open till midnight or 24/7. They don't have a clue what's going on. If you go in for a game that's releasing and they'll be like, oh, is that supposed to release today? You're like, and then you got Target, which closes at 11 and opens at 8, 7 or 8 in my area. That sucks. I'm not getting it at midnight. I got Best Buy. They're not open at midnight. GameStop stays open for midnight releases, in my area at least. I've heard different things. Some people can go to midnight releases in their area and some don't. And like some of the ones in kind of the big city around me, they do, some of them do and some of them don't. Like they pick and choose what games to do it at. But those are always fun. The one that I go to often has like tournaments or something like that while you are actually waiting for this. So what they'll do is say, you guys come on in. Don't wait outside. Come in, enjoy the area, play some games, have some free pizza or drinks, whatever they offer at that point. And then at about 11:15, 11:30, they say go stand outside, make sure you've all paid, and then they'll get us in at midnight, we'll get our stuff and leave. But like, that's amazing. That's fun. If you've never done that, you definitely should. But what happens, that goes away. There's no place in my area that would do a midnight release. Walmart doesn't do it. Like, I've been to Walmart when they've been releasing big things. Like, whenever the Super Nintendo Classic came out, I went to Walmart because GameStop didn't have any for the release. I missed the pre-order for it. And then the GameStop in my area was sold out. Like, literally, there were like 50 people in line, and they only had like 25 of them. So I pieced out and drove to one of my friends' Walmarts, and they had them. We waited in line. I was like 7th or 8th in line. He was right in front of me. And so we went there, and we got what we wanted. But no party, nothing, no bonuses, nothing like that. So GameStop, I think, is a big deal. We need GameStop because it keeps those other companies in competition. It keeps prices down. It keeps prices reasonable because without competition, people jack their prices up. And then we see games go from $60, which they haven't changed from in a long time. People complain about games being $60. And yes, that's annoying sometimes. But if it's a $60 game and it's been like that for, say, 10 years, I think if GameStop goes out, I think those prices go up. Maybe 65, maybe 70, 75. These games are gonna jack up when you have less people selling them because the supply and demand is going to change. There's gonna be the same demand and less supply, which means that price goes up. So I think this is something we need to think about. Do we want GameStop to go out of business? I don't want to, because I think there's a bunch of things that it would affect that I would be sad about. Honestly, GameStop's decent. I love their online, actually. I've had great customer service there. I've got some weird things there, but I know that coming in that I'm probably not going to get what I expect. But I've bought 10 Xbox original games. All but 1 or 2 of them were complete, or at least they had the box, which the box and the artwork is all that matters. I don't have to have a manual, but that's awesome. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but I think GameStop needs to stay around in some sort of fashion. If they just become an online marketplace, that's a cool thing. That probably still matters, but when we see those stores start to close, which we've already seen, but when we see all the stores closes, I think that's when we know GameStop is in trouble and we're gonna have problems because we won't be able to find the stuff that we need. So with that being said, I want to know what you guys think. Comment down below and let me know what you think about GameStop. And if it closes in 2020, what will that mean to you? So with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification because it lets you know when I post more videos, which is every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. With that being said, I want to say thank you so much for watching one more time and make sure you have a good day.